Are you aware that the sugar in your diet could be actually wreaking havoc on your hormonal health? Today on the Life and Health Show, we are exposing the hidden dangers that sugar poses, not just to your waistline, but more importantly, to your hormones. Oh, come on, man.
Hidden dangers, right?
Yes, hidden dangers.
So from your thyroid tissues to reproductive health, the impact is more significant than you might think. If you are struggling with your weight, mood swings here and there, or you are even having chronic fatigue.
Chronic fatigue, right?
Chronic fatigue. You feel weak almost every day. Sugar could be the culprit.
My goodness, sugar could be the reason. My goodness. All right. So then, join us as we uncover how sugar disrupts hormonal balance. That's huge. And what you can do to protect your health. You know, this isn't just another diet tip. You know, you're probably thinking, you're going to talk about food and that and all that. Yeah, it's not just another diet tip. It's a must know for your well-being.
Yeah, so it's time to take control of your sugar intake and reclaim your health.
My goodness, reclaim your health, right? That's what's up. All right, so let's discuss what we are going to be focusing on this episode. The first one we're going to be talking about, as the title implies, is how sugar actually disrupts your hormonal balance. Now, when we mention hormones, people always think we are talking about just women. It's not just women, but suffice to say that they are the ones that usually identify the most with hormones and issues with hormones, right? But men too. But if you're a woman, even much better, because we deal with hormones, a lot in women, right? So we're going to be talking or focusing more about how sugar actually disrupts your hormonal balance. And we will touch on the research findings, a few of them that are also out there to support this.
Then we will also talk about a specific risk for women, like you said, that women are more exposed. For example, reproductive health, risk for diabetes, and the mighty weight gain. Right?
Oh, come on, man. Mighty weight gain that everybody knows about, right? And also, the third thing we're going to be talking about is practical tips, on how to adjust your diet and stabilize your hormones and improve your overall health.
Yeah. So before we begin, please, we would like you to share, give us a thumbs up, so that the numbers will go up and other people will be able to have the chance to see what we are trying to share.
Definitely. Hit the comments, everything you got to do. They only let people watch if people are engaged. So in order to get more people to watch, you have to be engaged by hitting the like, thumbs up, shared, all the good stuff. I know a lot of people watch. A few people walk to us and talk to us to encourage us. But even what is going to be better is if you just hit the like or thumbs up button so that more people will be given the chance to watch the show. All right, so we begin then, honey, on how sugar intake disrupts hormonal balance. So, saying that seems obvious, right? But it's not that obvious. When you consume sugar, your body responds, as you may already know, by releasing insulin. Most of us know that. Most people know that when you eat sugar, your body responds by releasing insulin from the pancreas, which, again, most people know. This is no news. Most people know that. But that's not the end of the case. Now, insulin's job, as you know, is to help glucose enter your cells, where it is actually, broken down into useful energy. So that is exactly what happens when you eat sugar. But there's more, yeah?
Yeah, so however, when you eat too much sugar regularly,
that's the key.
Regularly.
Too much sugar and more often, right?
Yes. Your body needs to pump out more insulin because you are eating more. So because you are eating more, your body have to release more to handle the increased glucose levels that is coming through. So over time, this can lead to what we called insulin resistance, where your cells no longer respond effectively because of the resistance. It does not work as well on the glucose. The insulin does not work as well on the glucose. Then you have something we call insulin resistance.
My goodness. So basically, what you're saying is insulin will be released all the time because you're eating, as you said, regularly high amounts of sugar. And then too much release, and then your body doesn't respond anymore. As simple as that. So she's trying to trick you by using those big words, insulin resistance. But it's very easy. Kind of like we talk about antibiotic resistance, right? When we talk about antibiotic resistance, what we are saying is that you use so much antibiotic that now the bacteria does not get killed because they are resistant to your antibiotics or to the medication that we're needing to use to treat infection. Same way with the sugar. Insulin resistance, that is what it does. Your body becomes resistant to insulin, and you get too much insulin floating around along with too much glucose itself.
Okay.
But the key...
but in other words, if you are not taking in a lot of sugar, it means that your body is not going to produce a lot more insulin to cause the insulin resistance. So in other words, cutting down sugar is the key, or not even eating it at all, or cutting it to the point that you're not eating it regularly. Then your body is not going to end up producing more of the insulin to bring about the insulin resistance.
My goodness. That's what's up. So that is a simple way to reverse insulin resistance. Cut back on the sugar, and then let the body be using the little that you produce. The little insulin becomes more sensitive or more effective. But we're going to go into depth as to some of the things that you can do in that respect. Some of the drinks you should drink or avoid so that you don't get insulin resistant. But suffice to say, before we get there, we want to just make sure that we are moving according to what we said our outline is. So the next thing then is the insulin resistance doesn't just affect blood sugar levels. That's the problem right here. It starts a domino effect, on the other hormones. So insulin has been released, a good hormone for sugar to be picked up, all right? But then now, because of the fact that there's too much insulin around, another hormone is floating around, it increases the levels of other hormones. So that's the disruption right here, such as the stress hormone called cortisol. Of course, other hormones like adrenaline become all disrupted. Their levels are going to increase because too much insulin is floating. They feel like they should also come on board because, to be detailed, I don't want to go into much detail, but we know that when we did a discussion on stress for heart disease some time ago, we said that when you are stressed, insulin is released and cortisol is released. All the things come together to make sure that you get energy so that you can fight or flee whatever threat that you are facing, right? In the same way, if insulin is coming up so much because you are eating too much sugar regularly, like Gifty said, then of course cortisol will come. Hey, there's got to be something wrong here. Cortisol will also be released. So your balance of hormones begin to go way high. And it's not just cortisol, but at least I'm just going to say that I'm pretty sure Gift is going to add more. And so cortisol hormone gets released, and which in turn also disrupts your sleep, and then your appetite, and then even your mood. Appetite going to increase and all that. It's going to come in.
Yeah. So after the insulin has affected cortisol, it can also interfere other hormones, like you're saying, other hormones like thyroid hormones, which regulate your metabolism, and reproductive hormones, which manage your menstrual cycle and fertility in women.
My goodness. So it started off with just insulin being released. And now we are affecting these specific hormones. There is more. But for our show, we just want to focus on these. All that had to take place was insulin being extra.
Right.
Coming on board too much because you ate too much sugar. Now, your thyroid hormones are affected. Your menstrual cycle is off the chart. Instead of 28 days, you are doing 15. And your man is... you're doing 32, instead of the normal, average of around 28, your menstrual cycle is off the chart. It's here today, it's not there. Some months you're seeing, some months you're not seeing. I'm not saying that's only caused by sugar, but at least this also happens when you eat too much sugar and you're a lady. The insulin that is way higher than normal is causing your thyroid hormones, your estrogen levels, your luteinizing hormone, all those hormones that in a woman make you, stable, become disrupted. Using that keyword, they become disrupted. And if they are disrupted or they are thrown off the chart, the imbalance begins to happen, then obviously something is going to happen. Like she said, it's affecting your fertility even, and obviously your menstrual cycle also begin to get in trouble. And I don't know if we can hammer it any more than we have, but this is a big issue. It's a big issue.
Yeah. So like you said, the danger is exposed, right? So this is a danger that we are exposing today. So if you realize that your menstrual cycle is all over
and you eat so much sugar,
it can be other causes though, like we said, but just check the sugar level intake. It could be one of the things that is causing the disruption in your cycle.
My goodness. That is how bad sugar can be to your hormones, right? This hormonal turmoil, as we have already said, because of this up, this down, this releasing that not necessarily needed, but because insulin is there, they are all coming on board to help whatever is wrong. Now, this causes a turmoil. And this manifests in various health issues, one of which, of course, is weight gain. Remember, we said that cortisol is going to be released. If cortisol is released, what cortisol does is to make you hungry and eat. You get an appetite, eat more and more. So you're going to gain weight. Diabetes may be around the corner. Why? Again, because your insulin levels have triggered cortisol to be released. And when cortisol is released, your insulin, is there. It's not going to stop releasing, and glucose is going to be converted more from your liver storage, liver stores into your blood. So basically, glucose is just running around like crazy, all because your hormonal balance is off. So diabetes on the corner. And then, as Gifty alluded to earlier, thyroid disorders. You may have some thyroid problems, whether you have hyperthyroidism, which makes you lose weight even though you are eating and eating and eating. You are losing weight, or you don't gain weight, or
you are gaining too much.
Or you're gaining too much. Whatever it is, your hormonal balance is off of all the hormones that we can mention on this show. And so that is also a problem. So those imbalances can lead to several problems. And of course, Gifty also mentioned the reproductive problems in women. You want to have a baby, but your cycle is off the charts. You are looking for a time that, ovulation may be there, but ovulation may be where you are not even expecting it to be. And so everything doesn't work out because, again, sugar going up along with glucose,
I think we missed the diabetes, right?
Yeah.
Because we talk about excess production of insulin that will cause it to be insensitive. Yeah. And so insulin insensitivity will lead to diabetes.
Yes.
So staying away from sugar, is no brainer. We know it's very important that we pay attention to this, to cut down on the intake of sugar.
Definitely. Now let's consider a couple of studies. We don't want you to think that we are just making things up, or just because we talked about sugar affecting erectile function in men, we definitely had to bring something to affect the woman. No. That's not us. Sugar is really bad. Sugar is really bad, trust me. And even in men, the hormonal issues are there. If you remember from our last show, we said that if your glucose levels are constantly high and your insulin levels are constantly high, you may develop a big gap around your waist. You may have a huge belly full of fat. Abdominal width, grows. Your inches, your waist circumference, I should say, increases. And when there's so much fat, estrogen begins to get produced in a man. Even though you are a guy, instead of producing testosterone, you may be producing estrogen because of the fat cells that are stored in your belly. So it's not just women. hormonal changes, even in men, also happens because of extra consumption of sugar, whatever form it comes from. So yeah, I want to talk about a couple of studies. Let me just start on that. Yeah, so the first study is from a guy called Stanhope from 2016. And they actually looked at sugar, and metabolic disease, as well as hormonal dysregulation. Basically, they compared this. They looked at how sugar and then your metabolism is working to also produce hormonal imbalance. Just to make it simple. And what they found is astounding. They found that excess sugar, especially from fructose, we're going to talk about what kind of sugars to avoid, but at least for now, they found out that excess sugar from fructose increases, the deposition of fat in the liver. And so you may hear of fatty liver disease that most people talk about. It's dangerous. Your liver is full of fat. It's excess sugar coming to do that. And when that happens, there's also another thing happening alongside fat, deposit in the liver. You're also decreasing insulin sensitivity, which we have touched on. So we are proving our point right here with this study, right? Insulin becomes insensitive, or resistant, which we should say. Insulin resistance happens. And then this promotes hormonal imbalances, which affect your metabolism again. This is a study that is more recent and that is bringing this up. So we are not making this up, and the body's ability to regulate energy through leptin signaling is also contributes to overeating and fat storage, leading to metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome we all know about, right? We mentioned a few of those symptoms of metabolic syndrome, such as, again, being obese, having a big belly, having, of course, insulin resistance. They are all coming from high diet in sugar or high intake of sugar. And then, of course, they also found that all these are also related to the hormone called insulin. So hormonal balance or imbalance or resistance due to just basically eating too much sugar.
And I think you touch on leptin too. That's hormone in you. So if you eat too much of that leptin is affected. Because of that, that sense of feeling full is taken away.
You eat and you don't feel like you ate.
Because that hormone is affected. And because that hormone is affected, you will eat and eat and eat and eat, and you still feel like you want more and more. So that study proves our point here, that your hormones are affected if you eat too much sugar.
Definitely.
So the second study was the one that we are looking at is from 2018 by Macram and Co. Right? So they studied sugar and cancer risk through or via hormonal pathways. So they studied people taking too much sugar and the risk of having cancer through the hormonal changes, the hormonal pathway. So they also found that excessive intake of sugary foods in beverages is linked to increased risk of adiposity-related cancers due to disruptions of insulin glucose regulation and oxidative stress.
Oh my goodness, you are speaking too much big words.
So simply put,
yes.
These hormonal imbalances, promote a disruption in the regulation of sugar. And this can lead to cancer, deposited cancer in your cells. Okay? Yeah, so it's still bottom line is just avoid excessive intake of sugar.
Avoid them right now.
Yeah.
And forever.
Yeah, so they promote cancer development, particularly through insulin resistance and its impact on metabolic health.
My goodness.
Like we said already.
My goodness. Those are huge stuff. But before we go on, I think we have two comments and I just need to show because I miss my dear sister so much. All right. So this is a huge stuff. Now, comment said, Stella Natoshi, come on, man, I miss you. Doing a good job. Thank you so much. And I think she has another one. And that says, so proud of you both. God bless you. God bless you too. God bless you too. Our sister from Texas. God bless you also. And if you are watching and you want to share your comments on the live, you can put it on the chat. We may be able to put it up as we see our sister's comment right now. But yeah, going forward, these studies prove our point. You know, there are several studies, but now there's one that we probably should do another show on, because if we think about sugar, if we don't stop you from eating sugar after watching our series, then we haven't done a good job. But at least now we've proved to you that it's not just we telling you. These are studies that have shown them.
Very recent studies.
Very recent. Too. Now, there's actually a recent study in 2022, 2 years ago, right, where sugar has been shown to be linked to increases in rheumatoid arthritis or arthritis pain. You know, people are getting more rheumatoid arthritis, or if they have it already, it's getting worse because they're eating sugar. And then also another inflammatory mediated disease called IBS, or inflammatory bowel disease, IBS. You know, also people who eat too much sugar are getting that. This is fairly recent study, 2 years ago. And there's studies before that say the same thing, but I just want you to know that this is not something in the past that we are bringing. This is more recent data that is telling us all these things that we are sharing with you. So the most of the things we are talking about are recent, and we want you to make sure that you are taking them to the bank. Most of the sugar we are talking about also come from sweetened beverages. You know, common one that we see is high fructose corn syrup. Now, I was talking to a dear sister today, and she said she traveled to Iowa, the state of Iowa, and she saw big corn fields, lots of farms where only corn. And I mean, I think we've been to the Midwest sometime, and you will be driving and you see corn. But I don't see Americans eating banku. Do you see them? Come on, man. I'm talking about, in the West, how many food products are made using corn? I don't see any. There's no kenke, there's no banku, and yet there's huge cornfields. Most of these cornfields are used to bring high fructose corn syrup.
Wow.
They make sugar out of them, and they add it to everything that we talk about and we drink and we eat. And this is what is causing a lot of the diabetes and a lot of the hormonal issues that we are talking about. So sugar it may be hidden, but as we said, we are exposing the dangers. Last week was exposition on what they do to the men, erectile dysfunction, right? This week, they are showing us how they affect women, and of course, men, to how they can affect our hormonal balance in this regard. So we should probably just move on. We want to make sure that we hit most of the points today.
Okay, so that brings us to practical tips on how to adjust your diet to stabilize your hormones. How can you do things differently so that you adjust what you are eating in order to make things work perfectly for you? So, and improve your overall health, right? So the first is avoid sugar sweetening beverages. Avoid sugar sweetened beverages such as soda, soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all the sodas around, and even the ones that you make yourself.
Oh, come on, man. Somebody makes them. Some people make them at home, right? Oh, and it's so funny you are saying that. I've seen a product, I won't say the company's name, where they sell machines that you can make your own soda at home. Man, they want you to have an ease to Pepsi or to Coke or to cola drinks, So you get a machine that you can make it at home. No. That's not what you wanted to do.
Or you walk to these fast foods. They have this machine with big cups, right? All that it takes to pay for one cup. You can fill your cup and refill and do refill and refill and refill. And the cup is not small size, it's huge.
It's huge size.
Big size, So the best thing that you can do for yourself is to avoid these soft drinks. These sodas, Or
minerals.
And the minerals.
Some people
and the
call
Fanta,
them minerals.
That we drink. Just avoid that. Substitute all that with water.
My goodness, with water, right? Yeah. Now, before we go on, though, I remember that we in our local meetings, you have some drinks that people have been trying to make. You know, the sobolos and the ginger.
Ginger drinks.
Which some of them really. No, if you look and think
Good
about it,
intentions,
yeah,
right?
good intentions. As a matter of fact, some people think that it was useful during COVID. I don't know how much that is, but the point is, if you are doing it yourself and you're adding sugar, you are defeating the purpose. You think you are making it natural. Oh, this one is not soda.
It's all natural.
It's all natural. I made it. I blended the ginger myself. Great job. But did you add something to it that made it sweet? If you did, you have defeated the whole purpose because you are adding sugar to it. And so we may not mention Sobolo, we may not mention Tampico or whatever drink, right? Or whatever drink that you are probably using. But the key is that if you are drinking anything that you yourself are making, but you're adding sugar to it, you have defeated the purpose. You might as well just stop wasting your time and buy the soda and just take the sugar, right? Because in that case, at least you know that you didn't waste your time. But if you can make them without sugar, without adding sugar, you may say that, but it won't taste good. I mean, you could potentially put a hint of a little bit, but not how sweet we taste them. I mean, we brought some home from funerals or parties that we went to, and sometimes you look at a color and it looks good. I mean, it may actually be nice, and you see the lip, you see a local person made it. It's nice.
All natural.
It's all natural. But then you taste it and it's so sweet, so sweet, as if we don't care about our health. So that is where the problem is. So if you want to make them, fine, make them, but be conscious of how much added sugar you are putting in, because you don't want to, make something and then make it as unhealthy as the ones that we are saying do not use.
With the drinks too, I've seen some that has no sugar in it, and when you taste it, it doesn't taste good at all.
Oh, come on, man, babe. Don't expose me right here.
It doesn't taste good at all, but at least, we are trying to train our tongue and our tooth. Yeah, we don't want to have this sweet tooth that everything should be sweet for us. Sometimes you think about what you are getting out of it. The ginger, is anti-inflammatory. You have other good things in all the natural stuff that you're using. Just think about that and just drink. That will even help you not to drink too much. But when it's sweet, you go for another bottle and another bottle. By the time that you realize you consume a whole amount of sugar, that is not healthy for you.
So healthy, throwing off your hormonal balance, right? Many people getting to be, feeling the symptoms of menopause when they are actually like in their 30s, putting their men in trouble. Come on, man. As well as the men too, hitting, they feel like they are 50 and they are in their 30s, all because of too much sugar. I've worked in a place where I work with some folks, and the amount of soda, it's like everything. They don't drink water. All they drink is the sweet stuff.
Yep.
The amount of soda that goes in. And you can imagine what is going on. Apart from the bedroom issues that we discussed last week, if you missed it, make sure you go back and watch. They are throwing off their hormonal balance, and they are going to age quickly because all their body is inflamed. All their body is inflamed.
And the abdominal, the increase in weight.
The increase in weight,
and the resistance, the diabetes, and all that. We have to be very conscious about that.
Yeah. Now, the next thing, apart from the sodas and artificially flavored drinks that we are telling you to stop, sweetened fruit juices. Now, this is where it gets tricky because some people may think that, but this is juice, this is juice. My son tempts me all the time to go for grocery, and he wants apple juice. I cannot convince him to just chew the apple.
That's too hard.
That's too hard. He wants to just drink it. And drinking water is a problem. And some of us have given in, and we are buying juices, and we say, as for me, I won't drink, but we're giving it to our children, and they gain so much weight, and we don't understand. Fruit juices. If you are an adult and you are drinking it yourself, well, come on, man, today is the last day. Actually, whenever time you drank your last, do not drink anymore. As far as they are, no matter what, as long as they have been made into a purified juice, as we said earlier, all the fiber has been taken out. And if the fiber is taken out, you have concentrated the sugar in the juice, fructose. And so when you drink it, you're going to get so much sugar rush in your blood. No, if you had eaten the fruit itself, you're going to get the same sweet tongue, all right? But the good thing is, your body's not going to get all the sugar in your blood because some of them are locked in the fiber. You're chewing the apple, some of them you cannot chew it and get all the sugar out. You will swallow before you know it. And so you reduce the amount of sugar that you're going to pick up into your blood. So rather than, drinking fruit juices, orange juice. Let's give an example. Some people think that orange juice is healthy or it's got potassium.
Yeah, so with the orange juice, I think sometimes we have ones that says no sugar added, no added sugar on the bottle. And sometimes some of them come with pulp, added pulp. So I don't know what you think about that.
I will still not, because the sugar in it has still been concentrated, because it's been broken down. I would rather that you eat the orange and swallow every water that comes from it. I mean, I know where you're coming from. Like people who really can do it. Some people are like, no, I need my juice.
Right.
If that's all you got, then of course in moderation too, right?
Right.
You
can buy the one that has no sugar.
That has no added sugar. And then also the pulp, which is the fiber already in there. But if you can, just stay away and drink eat the fruit itself, the whole fruit, the fibers included. And the good thing that I said about last time also is that you get a fiber on board, you get your constipation is also taken care of. So you are eating and getting the sweet orange, and then when you go to the bathroom, you don't struggle too. Come on, man, you get two things for one. Actually, 3 things.
Yeah, you get the cholesterol.
And cholesterol too, because of the fiber, your cholesterol levels don't also go up that quick. So let's learn to avoid all those sweetened fruit juices and be all natural. Eat the apple. Let it decorate in your center table, your centerpiece. Make sure that you get, a bowl of beautifully washed apple, staying there with family members once a while, picking it up and chew it, or oranges, or whatever fruit it is that you like, so that we will decrease dependence on sweetened beverages, sweetened fruit juices.
Yep.
Go to the next one.
Yeah, the next one that you want to avoid is energy drinks.
Energy drinks. Oh, come on, man.
So you have the Red Bull, Monster, sweetened iced teas, like Snapple, which we used to love a lot, right? So we figured out that it has a lot of sugar.
It has 54 grams to be specific.
Sugar.
The ones that I checked. 54 grams of sugar in one bottle of Snapple juice. We are not picking up on Snapple company, but if there's Arizona also.
Right.
We are not picking up on anyone. What's on there is what's on there. If it's not there, then you can say that I'm picking up. The sugar is too much. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They have unsweetened Snapple though.
Unsweetened, yeah. But still, like I said earlier, I'm not going to go there.
And Arizona iced tea, sodas, and minerals, like we said already. So like the Monsters, sometimes you're at work and you feel you're so like thirsty, you need a kick, right? You want to grab the Red Bull or something like that. You have to check the amount of sugar in there. That can be something that you would like to avoid.
Yes, if you look at the sugar content, it may deter you. You may, if you are, some people don't care, so they will see it and they'll say, go. I hope you are not that person. If you are not, then start looking before you take any or buy anything, and make sure that you are buying no diseases for yourself. You're eating right and enjoying life as God wants you to. And we have another comment. I think we can see if this one will work. Yes, so we have another person called MC Beck. He said, wow, good stuff. Oh, come on, thank you for saying that. MC Beck. MC Beck, I can see you're also a family man with a picture background, and hopefully you are also taking good care of yourself right there. And he has another comment too. His other comment is low. Come on, man. I don't know when he said that, what reason he did, but yes. Sugar can make you say that because there's a ton of things that sugar can do that we don't want ourselves to be involved in. All right, so let's move on forward. Now, some of the foods that also contain high fructose corn syrup or corn sugar, whatever you call it, HFCS, are even worse. Sugar added as we explained, are bad because we have added sugar. But then again, there are some foods that have high fructose corn syrup, in place of regular sugar, because sugar is more expensive. But as I said, in the corn fields of the Midwest, they are using the corn there to make high fructose corn syrup, which is added to some of the drinks and foods that we eat. And we're just going to talk about a few of them. So if you are a fan of them and you don't stop, then means you have actually disregarded all that we are saying. The first one is soft drinks. We have touched on them. So some soft drinks have added sugar by themselves. Others have the high fructose corn syrup, including, again, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, and the rest.
Yeah, and also we have the packaged baked goods, like the cookies, the chocolate chip cookie. We have the cakes, we have the pastries. Those you have to pay attention. When you grab such things, just go through, read the label. You'll be surprised how much corn syrup is in there, the high fructose corn syrup. They hide it right there.
In the ingredients.
You will see right away that we are saying that is even more serious than regular sugar. So if we are saying sugar is bad and you're taking something that has the high fructose corn syrup, that is even worse.
That's double whammy.
It causes your hormones to be all over
the place.
So you have to be paying attention to the baked cookies. So it's not just the drinks that we are talking about. I think end of the day, we come with the processed foods. So if you are grabbing the cookies and the pastries and the cakes in the grocery store, pay attention to the label.
My goodness, pay attention to those things. Definitely do. Now, the other thing that may also contain high fructose corn syrups are the candies and the sweets. Oh, come on. Some people are going to blame me because Halloween is around the corner. Less than a week for Halloween, and they're going to eat like candies. But yes, candy bars, all the ones you know about, gummy candies, and all those other sweet stuff that you're going to be seeing and kids are going to be knocking your doors for. When you're buying for kids that are coming to your house, make sure they don't have high fructose corn syrup, because you'll be passing out poisons to little babies and little kids who know less. If you do know this today and you're passing out something on Halloween, make sure it's something that is healthier. At least just pay attention to the wrapper before you buy it. If you have to buy something that kids want, make sure it contains the least amount of these corn syrups. But definitely candies and sweets, candy bars, gummy bears, all those that are sweet, they also hide these corn syrups in them.
And also at work, you look everywhere, you see these candies everywhere because it's Halloween, like you said, right? We see it everywhere. You have to pay attention. If you are grabbing them, putting them in your pocket and chewing and eating as you go, you have to watch out for that. And also some parents, what I've realized is when they go grocery, it's part of what they buy for their kids. It's part of the items on the list to buy. Candies. I'm like, it shouldn't be part of the things you buy. I think you insisted on not buying sodas, not having sodas in the house, right? And the fruit juices. Also, there shouldn't be any candies around the house for the kids to be dumping in because of the high fructose corn syrup in them. You have to be very careful.
Be careful. All right. The other food group that we can talk about is flavored yogurt. Now, this one you may say that, but I thought that yogurt, you have good bacteria, probiotics in the yogurt. Why are you blaming yogurt? Flavored yogurt, again, just look on the packaging and see if they have not added any of those high fructose corn syrups. Then you are safe. But some of them hide them in there. So much as we know of the health benefits of eating yogurt, especially for some women who need to eat it more often to prevent UTIs and stuff, you got to make sure that you are aware of what you are eating, because they're healthy ones, they're natural ones, they are organic ones, they are ones that have no sugar added.
Especially the plain yogurts.
The plain yogurts. Then you may actually be healthier that way than to just eat yogurt for eating sake. not reading anything just because you feel like there's it's healthier option for you, or you want good bacteria for your gut. That's something we have to watch for. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
So what to conclude what to include, right, in your diet is what we are talking about. We are talking about the natural sources of sugar, such as in fruits, like we're insistent, the natural state of fruit. Do you have the sugar in there? All right. But that's the natural source of sugar. So if you have a sweet tooth, right?
Like mine, right?
That is something you have to go for, And non-processed foods, I think we can't stress this enough. Non-processed foods. So everything in its natural state will be something that you want to include in your diet.
Definitely. Everything in its natural state. As soon as you hit the processing, it's in a can, it's in a package, they got to make it, taste good. They got to make it last on the shelf. Then it's bad. So we're going to conclude here, but I want to say thank you for tuning in, into today's episode of the Life and Health Show. Now, if you found our discussion on the dangers of sugar and hormonal health enlightening, oh, come on, man, what you got to do? Please hit the like button, and also, share the video. And subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, or wherever you're watching us from.
Yeah. And if you are ready to take control of your health, start by reducing your sugar intake.
My goodness.
I think the first tip here is don't ever drink your calories. Don't drink your calories. So when you're drinking, think about it. Am I drinking my calorie for the day? Maybe you have to do 1,500 calories daily or 2,000 calories daily. Don't drink it. Eat it. And make sure that whatever you're drinking is plain water and the healthy stuff. If you have questions or need more guidance, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. We are here to help. So
definitely
bring up your ideas. If you have any tip for our viewers, share with us so that together we will learn and have a healthier lifestyle.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. Turn on all your notifications for our channel to get updates, and updated content. Also, even on our latest episodes. So we'll say see you in the next episode, which is coming up soon. And until we see you again, we say,
Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers.
Thanks for watching, and we thank you for sharing your time with us today.